Hey guys, it is Jesse from BC Fishing Journal. Thanks so much for coming back to the channel and checking out another video. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We are here at ATTIRE River Park in North Vancouver. This is a little creek behind, really close behind my house actually. I'm not doing any fishing here. I thought, so often I'm getting questions on YouTube and email asking me like, what's in your bag? What sort of gear are you using on the river? And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do a tackle bag dump, I guess what you call it. This is the stuff that I find that works for me. Yeah, this is just my deal. You guys might be laughing at me, and just because this guy's got a YouTube channel, it doesn't make him a fishing expert. And that is 100% true. So I'm just gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna go for a walk and I'll pull out the gear and maybe I'll throw up the drone and yeah, let's just have some fun with this here. So here's the bag. So this is my fishing bag that I love to take to the river. It's nice and small, not too big. It is a one strap Piscus Fun fishing bag. This is great. So just usually sits across my shoulder like this. And the reason why I like just the one strap is because I can twist it around like this and then I can grab stuff out of it no problem. So it's really quite quick, or even if I just want to grab something fast like that, we can just yeah, it's quick accessibility. So the double straps, when you have two on the backpack, I can't stand that because you have to take each one off. So this is nice. So it just swings around like that, just like so. Really small and light, which is also money. So you just take the basics that you need with you. So let's have a look inside. Yeah. All right. So what I'll do is I will start by maybe working from the outside and work my way in. So let's start on the sides here. So first things first, obviously we have a water bottle. Got to have that on the river. Very important. I'll take that out so you can see there's a nice little pouch for that. I've got this little lanyard with a little braid cutter. So this is actually pretty handy. So if you ever have to cut some braided line or any leader line or anything like that, it's just nice to have that accessible on your bag, and it's connected so you can't lose it, because I do that all the time. On the other side, we've got a knife. You got to have these to gut or bleed out your fish, obviously very important. I like to have this one's not a really high-end knife, but it's just a nice little thing to have on. Obviously at the river you got to have those, and that just clips on just like that, so it's pretty secure. There's also pliers. Whoop, that's what I was doing here. Pliers, got to have some pliers, some sort, like to pull out the tiny little hooks, to help with proper fish care. You definitely want to have some good pliers. These are also really nice pliers because they've got a little bit of a lip there, so if you're dealing with any O-rings or any sort of little gear like that, they're really handy. So I really like these. On the outside, I've got these little D-rings. These are super helpful. You can use these for a lot of things. I actually like to, when I catch a fish, to transport the fish from the river or wherever I catch the fish back to my vehicle. I like to take this and I hook it through the gill. I'll go through the mouth and out the gill, and I use this as like a carrying tool. So it's a really handy way to carry your fish out, especially if they've got some sharper mouths or something like that. Or yeah, it's just a nice way to carry your fish out. So I always have these. Plus you can carry other things, you can connect other things to them. Yeah, just really handy to have those. On the back here I have some, I'm gonna move this out of my way a little bit. I have some large Ziploc bags, and the reason why I keep these is if I ever retain a fish like that as a doe that has roe or eggs that I want to keep, you want to make sure you take good care of the eggs. And so this is how I do that. Obviously I would take out the roe when I'm cleaning them at the river, and I'll put the roe right into this bag right here, and that just allows me to keep it from getting dirty or anything like any rain or anything like that on it. So it's just a good little thing. Also, if you're ever picking up any garbage at the river, if you find any garbage, these are great things just to toss that excess garbage, throw it in one of these, and then when you're on your way out of the river or when you get back home, you just throw them out. So that's everything on the outside. Let's start working into some of the compartments. So on the top one here, I've got a light. This is my headlamp. This is very important. For all you first light fishermen or last light fishermen, you know the importance of a headlamp. You gotta have a good one. So very important there. So that's in there. I've got some scissors, so if, again, cutting more lines, those type of things. I've got a bait button. You don't see me use this too often, but these are a cool little tool. So there's a little plastic disc that comes out of there, and you can hook it onto, or you can snap it onto a bait hook, and it kind of secures your bait from sliding off the hook. They're kind of a cool little tool. Whoop. So that's basically all that there is in there. It's just a small little compartment. I'll also put like little maybe GoPro batteries or things like that in there. Just little things that you need quick access to. All right, let's get into this component. So before I open up the main one, let's see what I got in here. So inside here, I've got my license wrapped up in a waterproof little Ziploc baggie. So these are my freshwater and my saltwater, so my tidal and my non-tidal fish license. Very important to have these on you at all times. And if you ever kill a fish that you need to mark down here in BC, we need to mark down steelhead, chinook in certain waters. Make sure you have a pen available so you can write that down. So always have my license on me. All right, so this component here, so this is the medium-sized pack area here. So here I've just got like, these are things I often carry with me. I love bead fishing, so you can use these in so many different types of situations, but as a big river guy, I often have these on me. So I've got a ton of beads. These are some of just my go-to ones I use often. So some beads are in here. Obviously yarn, I don't know, I don't use this as often, but sometimes just to put a teeny bit of yarn with some of my roe or certain things I'm throwing. These can be nice. So those are soft and they're easy to pack, so I toss those in there. But here, let's get to the main part. The most important part in this this main part is this green terminal tackle waterproof case. So this is actually really important. This is probably one of my favorite things, and I think this could be a good tip for some of you guys, especially if you're new anglers. You definitely want to have something like this. So this is a nice way to get a little box like this that holds all your little hooks, some of your terminal tackle, things like dual locks, swivels, hooks of all different sizes. There's some beads here, just all the little things on the river that you may not think about, and you have to keep them dry because if these get wet, they'll rest up. You don't want that to happen, so you need something that's going to be waterproof, but not too big. So this is a perfect size. I found this works really well. So I don't know if you can see that. So I've got hooks of all different sizes depending on what type of fishing I'm doing. And again, yeah, there's some of my swivels, my dual locks like I just mentioned. So, and then on this side, this is the nice thing about this one, I've got my weights. So here are my weights to weight down my floats, or maybe I'll take here's some bobber stoppers. I've also got a little needle here to thread line through plastics. So things like pink worms, or different types of plastic jigs. So that's really helpful to have on there. Yeah, so a whole variety of ranges of different weights here. I've also got some tungsten, I've got lead, I've got a bunch of different ones in there. So anyway, this is just a really helpful case. I highly recommend you have something like this in your bag. Good to have. You don't want to be carrying these in like little soft, I don't know, I found this really be helpful for me. So that's in there. All right. Check out the main compartment. There we go. So as you can see, I've got a bunch of these little leader boards. So these are really helpful. Often I'll label them, but what they are is basically a bunch of pre-tied leaders to hooks. So you can see there's a little swivel tied on. There's a swivel tied on to the leader line that's then tied onto a hook or a lure or some sort. And so the purpose for these is just to, when you're on the river and you need to switch your setup, you can switch your leader line, you just unravel this and then snap this onto your main line. Usually I have a dual lock that will connect to this really quickly. And so these are really helpful to have on the river. So I usually have 2 or 3 of these, depending on what type of fishing I'm doing. As you can see, I've got, what do I got? I got more beads, a couple, I've got a Colorado blade. Often I'd have like even pre-tied like spoons, spinners, things like that on here as well. Again, It really depends on the type of fishing, but one thing I like to do is I like to label them. So you can see here I've got 15-pound Seagar, so that means I'm using 15-pound fluorocarbon line on these boards here. It's just a nice way to keep track of your boards and organize them. I often do it by leader line or by species. So maybe I'll have a board specific just for steelhead. Maybe I'll have a board specific for sturgeon leaders, whatever, you know what I mean? So just something to think about. They're really cheap, nice way to organize your pre-tied leader. All right, so we got those. What else do I got in here? So I've got a couple of, well, speaking of leader lines, I've got a couple of fluorocarbons. So I usually have 2 fluorocarbon leader lines in there. So this is a 10-pound and a 12-pound Seagar. These are probably the ones I use the most. These are a little bit more expensive, but you don't want to cheap out on leader line. I think if you're ever going to spend the most money on line, it's going to be on your leader line. That's what's connected to your hook, which is connected to the fish. Main lines, maybe you can get away with getting some cheaper stuff. I wouldn't recommend that, but anyway, leader line is something you definitely don't want to cheap out on. And so yeah, for when I'm on the river, this is probably the most common line that I use is 10-pound, and that's for salmon, that's for steelhead, that's for a lot of different things. So this is a really impressive line for me. I've had it, and I even use this actually in the saltwater when I'm casting off piers. Maybe I'll go to 15-pound, but I've gone, yeah, depends on what you're fishing for, but this is the line I like to use. So I usually have 2 of those. This is another little tackle box, but little waterproof thing that I usually have a bunch of like little lures. So these are things I call them kind of like a plan B. So plan B lures. So I'm not necessarily planning to use these at the fishing spot I'm at. These will be things that I will maybe when I get to the river or to the lake or to the ocean, I'll pull these out and say, okay, this would be really appropriate for this type of water or for what's happening in the water. So these are just kind of things that I think I might be using, but probably won't. That's why they're not pre-tied, but they're just there just as available. So here's like, maybe I'll have some spoons, like some more different colored Colorado blades, some spinners, some different beads, just random gear like that. So that's usually what's in here. What else do I got in here? Okay, I got some floats, extra floats in case I lose my setup. This is probably overkill. You probably don't. I don't even know if I've. Yeah. Rarely are you going to lose you shouldn't lose your floats at the river too often. But if you do, it's good to have maybe 1 or 2 as a backup. I like to use 20 gram, 25, 30, kind of as a max. But depending on the type of water I'm fishing, but I always have a couple of those for my river gear anyway. And that is essentially it. What else? I mean, there's just a couple extra lures. Maybe that should be in the front, but that's about it, as you can see. So now I'll just put this back in there. Oh wait, there's one more pocket up here. Oh yes. Oh, of course, the Go Fish camera. Gotta have that. You guys are loving that underwater camera. So am I. This thing is money. This has been a great little camera, and so if you're ever looking for some underwater footage, look how small that thing is. It's awesome. So I just strap this onto my main line. It's good to go. So it's a nice little addition to the videos. So that goes in here, and that's basically, those are the go-tos that I have at the river. Like, so that's generally it. I haven't talked about bait, like bait boxes. I haven't talked about my float setup. I haven't talked about that sort of stuff, and the rest of the gear, or even the stuff that I prep in going to the river. And so maybe what I'll do is I'll go back to my house and I'll show you exactly how I prepare for a trip, like what that actually looks like the night before and the morning of, so you can see exactly how I'm getting all my gear basically into the car, into the river, and what that looks like. I hope that maybe you'll find that helpful. Maybe there'll be some ideas in there. All right, so if I was fishing tomorrow, this is one of the first things I would grab. This is a Rubbermaid roughneck. It's how many liters is this thing? I don't know. It's dirty, and I don't even know how many liters, but you can see it's pretty filthy. Got to clean it out. But the first things I would do is I would grab my, let's see where we got them here. I would throw my boots in there. That boots go in there. Then I would grab my waders. There's my, hold on a second. shout out to these eye waders. Pretty big fan of these actually. Price point to the quality. It's like a stretchy material. Super comfortable. Like these are, man, I really like these. And these have been really durable and really warm too. I've been testing them for a year. Okay. And then I would put my waders in there. So there you can see I got my boots, my waders. Next I would put, then this is all prepped and ready to go. I put this on top like that. This is my bait box. So I have my bait in there. And so I have like things like my roe, my my prawn. I keep it in there, and this just goes around my waist like this. It's a nice little, and then you can quickly access it. And I always have scissors in there too to cut up the bait. So I can just go cut it off, you know, tie it. Sometimes I might have a little cloth tucked in here too to wipe my hands if it gets really dirty. But that'll go in there as well. So usually the bait is usually in the fridge, keeping cold at night. But I will have a little sign that says, once this is all said and done, on top of here in the morning, I'll put a little sign that says, don't forget bait. I literally put that every single time. I know it's silly, but I don't know if you guys do that, but every night, without fail, it just takes one time to forget your bait and you will, it's terrible. Like if you've ever forgotten your bait, it's so frustrating. You get to the river and you just realize, I have no bait. That's like the worst feeling. Anyway, so I've done that once. And ever since then, I've always put a little sign to remind myself, just a little sticky note. I always toss it on there no matter what. And so there's always one. So anyway, so the bait's in the fridge, because it's always in the fridge. But that's going to go right in there just like that. So that's going to go in there. And then I'll often throw in like, you know, like GoPro and some of my video stuff. I'll put it all on top here too. And then this goes here. And that goes at the top of the stairs by my rods. And yeah, so when I'm getting up at, you know, 4 in the morning and stuff like that, I don't want to be like wandering around grabbing a lot of stuff. I want to keep it pretty simple because I'm usually half asleep. So I'll take this blue bin right here, and I will take that, throw that in the back of my car. I'll put my obviously my fishing rods back of the car, and I'm gone. And I know it's all in one spot. It's just really helpful to have that. This is the stuff that I bring. I don't know, it's not the perfect situation. There's probably a lot of things maybe that you guys probably do that are a lot better. If you have some other ideas on how to prep, or actually anyways, I'd love to hear how you guys prep. Please drop a comment down below. I would love to hear how you guys prep for your fishing trips and kind of how you pack your stuff. And so, I mean, this is just my way, and it's not like it's like the best way, obviously. It's just the way I've kind of fallen into it and I've gotten into my routine. So, but I would love to hear your way. So please, what's going on here? Something flying around here. Anyway, I would love to hear how you guys get ready for your fishing trips each day. Like, what are your go-to things? How do you remember to bring your bait? How do you pack it up and get it from your house to the river or to the lake? However you do that, I'd love to know. Drop a comment down below. If you like this video, let me know. I would love to hear if you got some other ideas. By all means, again, drop a comment down below and let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Appreciate that. That really helps me out. And if you have not already, please subscribe. I would love to have you join us, the BC Fishing Journal family. So guys, thanks so much for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.